IRL wins, but he's going to pit right in front of Kristen.
Tony Stewart says he needs to cut better through the corners. That's really the only thing the number 20 Home Depot Chevrolet is missing right now. Cutting in the corners. He needs that pivot. Steve Burns.
Krista Ryan Newman says his car feels pretty darn good. Let's just make half the adjustments we made last time. Chassis and air pressure. Dick.
On the last pit stop, Matt Kenseth's crew picked up 2 spots. Then on the racetrack, he picked up 1. Matt.
Chassis adjustment already completed for Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet. Needed to have a little more help in the center of the corner, and also on that battery issue, he keeps swapping back and forth between ignition boxes and the battery. That's the game plan to try to go to the finish.
How about that battle off pit road? Those 4 guys right there, Kenseth, Johnson, Gordon, and Stewart, almost went across the line simultaneously.
I think we had some contact here between the 8 and the 12 as they exited their pit boxes. I don't know how much damage got done. Let's see if we can. Whoa, that's pretty hard right there.
Especially on that 8 car right front fender. Maybe didn't hurt the 12. And we're also getting a report that Dale Earnhardt Jr. said his steering wheel is not in the same position, which tells me it affected those front wheels.
Ryan Newman trying to stay off of his Penske teammate Kurt Busch.
Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR.
Rivalry. One who competes or attempts to outdo another.
The latest chapter of the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry is about to begin. He loops out the left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run, makes the play.
Ortiz in the deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
There's a drive on the line to left field. Come on, moves.
Next week, Red Sox, Yankees, and Cubs, Cardinals. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. The rivalry is back on Fox Saturday Baseball.
Even Petty versus Pearson couldn't compare with Cubs, Cardinals, or Yankees, Sox. Greatest rivalries in sports. Next Saturday and next Sunday, we're at Talladega. Fastest speedway on earth. The race off pit road was too close to call. That's why we have, and NASCAR has, a super slow-mo camera right there. It was that close. So close that Steve Letarte, the crew chief on Jeff Gordon's car closest to the camera, went to the NASCAR officials to plead his case. He should be leading the race on the restart. NASCAR has it scored that Tony Stewart was the first car to the line at pit exit.
He's turning into Pop-Tart tonight because every time we see him, he's popping up off that seat. And before it was with Harvick and his crew chief. Now he's over there with the NASCAR people.
There's the camera NASCAR uses at that line. And certainly while Steve Letarte is pleading his case, he'd much rather be out front here because you know what? This race is winding down. We only have 96 laps to go.
Our final singular virtual crew chief question for the night. Will Jeff Gordon finally win at Phoenix? He's been trying since 1992. Yes or no? Text the word crew to 191 on your singular AT&T wireless phone, or you can go to foxsports.com to cast your vote.
Well, he would accomplish 2 things. If he did, he would win a race here, and he would have won it from the pole, which no one's ever done.
And he would break a tie with Dale Earnhardt on the all-time win list.
And he would get 10 bonus points to add to his points total when they reset the top 12 drivers headed into those final 10 chase races. 10 bonus points for each win.
Looking at Ward Burton and the big VT on the hood. Our thoughts and prayers with everyone affected by the tragedy at Virginia Tech. We'll stand silent on this restart, and for all of them and all of you, we'll crank it up. Watching Kurt Busch now 5th from Kevin Harvick.
Bringing his teammate right along with him, too. Those two cars are really, really running well tonight, the 12 and the 2. Tell you one thing, Juan Pablo, he never gives up. It doesn't matter if he's racing for first or last.
He had a moment on that restart going off into turn 1.
Well put, I might add. He had a moment, but the guy that we went down in there with had a bigger moment.
There you see him, the 42 car on the inside.
He thinks about going down underneath the 15 car, and there really wasn't quite enough room, Juan.
Wasn't quite enough racetrack at all.
There's a look at it from Harvick's point of view.
Watch in front of you there. Staying again. Staying again.
Quite a bit of damage on his right front fender, too.
But everybody got straightened up and all right. Tony Stewart, the leader. His Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin. There he is in the number 11, trying to fight his way back into the top 10 for the first time since he pitted out of the lead back about lap 140.
Well, Denny Hamlin, he knows the clock is ticking now as we're under 100 laps to go. And we watched that last run. He got to 12th, and he just couldn't go any further, as you still see smoke from that 42 car, Montoya.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of damage on that right front fender. I think it's rubbing on a tire now. It's particularly under braking.
That was lap 100, not 140, when Hamlin pitted.
Whew. A lot of brake rotor blowing there on that 42 car.
Watch Dale Jr. and Montoya here.
Coming off a turn 2, you just sometimes get pushed enough, and you just can't get the car to stop.
And remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. just on that last pit stop, he got the right front fender damage with Ryan Newman. Now, Dick Bergman was telling us at break that they elected not to give up track position because right now we've got 24 cars in the lead lap. They felt like since the tire wasn't rubbing that it wouldn't be worth coming to pit road and looking at or trying to fix.
Well, Larry, walking around the garage area in the couple of hours before the race started was a pretty calm scene. And the people who seemed to be doing the most scurrying from one garage stall to the other were the representatives of the brake manufacturers. They had a busy day.
They have been all 3 days here because, as we spoke earlier, even though we've been at 2 short tracks, the speed you enter the corner here and the high gear that you have versus what we ran at Bristol or Martinsville, they knew it was going to be a concern at the end of these long straightaways, even in a 312-lap race.
And you get down near the end of this race and you've used a lot of brake and the pads are worn. You really are got your feet full trying to get your car woed up. Might need some of those Jeff Burton shoes.
Kenny Schrader driving for the Wood Brothers. Motorcraft Ford just ahead of Scott Riggs. And Kyle Busch, who last week, due to a simple miscommunication between he and his crew chief Alan Gustafson, Busch crashed the number 5 at Texas, told the crew on the radio the car was undrivable, couldn't be repaired. They were working on the car. He left the racetrack thinking it could not be repaired. They thought he was waiting in the hauler for it to be fixed. So a simple miscommunication when the car was repaired. Kyle was not there to drive it. And Rick Pigeon on that team, good friend of Dale Earnhardt Jr., went to his buddy, says, can you hop in and relieve us? Jr. said, let me check. He did, got into the number 5, and finished the race, gaining them some points. You don't see this in any other sport, someone helping a rival team. But Darrell, it goes back to your term, co-opetition.
Yeah, in that case it was. And he might want to listen to Jimmy V's speech sometime about don't ever give up. Because once you never leave until the car is in the trailer.
You know, I've been watching this 07 car of Clint Boyer. He was battling with his teammate Jeff Burton a while ago, but he's been starting to go backwards. It's almost like the Childress cars are starting to fade just a little bit in the latter stages of this race. We watched Kevin Harvick a while ago, not as good as he was, and now Clint Boyer continues to lose spots.
Mark Martin moves through. And there's a look at Boyer from the UPS Toyota of Dale Jarrett. Tony Stewart's lead over Jeff Gordon, 0.6 of a second. 36 laps to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox. Tony Stewart, two-time Nextel Cup champion, out in front of Jeff Gordon by 0.6 of a second. Look a little further back where Denny Hamlin has just passed Kyle Busch. So Hamlin's march from 31st at lap 100.
He's back
Took
to
him 137 laps to get back up into the top 10, but he is there. Now Jeff Green having a strong night. He's the 12th place car, driving for Haas Automation Racing in the 66. We'll take you through the rest of the cars on the lead lap. Carl Edwards in the Roush Fenway 99 Ford, 14 seconds off the lead.
And here's a guy that we haven't talked a whole lot about tonight, but by golly, running a great race. Bobby Labonte in the old 43 car.
Not a mark on that car.
Steady Eddie.
J.J. Yaley, whose dad, Cactus Jack, a well-known sprint car racer both in the Phoenix area and on the World of Outlaws circuit. J.J. did a lot of open wheeling before he moved up to Cup. He is 15th.
Next guy, Chris Devoto, talked about him earlier. Johnny Sauter in his 70. Remember, comes in here 35th in owner points. A good finish could give him a little bit of a cushion headed to Talladega.
Last week's winner, Jeff Burton, in the singular 31.